these guys are all big influences on me and certainly house music.
So let's go on that. I want to talk a little bit about each of your illustrious careers, because you guys have done a lot. All three of you have done amazing, have had amazing contributions to what we call house music. This is the Vintage House Show. And so part of what that is about is celebration and preservation. This is Lauren's framing, but the celebration and preservation of Chicago house legends and Chicago house music. And
we are here. We are live on the stream with Lauren and DJ Momami. DJ Momami, how are you?
I'm good. We're doing things a little differently this month. I'm calling from my home studio. Typically, we're in the WNUR studio, but welcome to my studio.
DJ Momami, did we tell you that the transmitter's down still? Yeah. And we can still, we have still, Kevin did a show there, Lori did a show there. And interestingly, you can kind of hear it on the actual radio, but it's very light. It comes in and out. It's very strange.
I feel like I was getting that feedback from people who were tuning in to my show, maybe when I did it back in July. And they're like, it's kind of light. So, the technology, right? You gotta upgrade it every now and again. So our studios is currently upgrading their transmitter. So we'll be back very soon there. But this month, I'm so excited that we're here recapping the summer. I feel like I believe summer's over.
Yes, it's gone, girl. But our weather's still nice. The weather's so nice that it is making me feel like we are still sort of in summer mode a little bit.
I was on the rooftop today sun tanning, so it's still summer to me.
You do have a glow. I like the glow. I like that. That's super nice. But Momami, this has been really, I think, an interesting summer. And I hope our team comes on and talks about this because, of course, as we were celebrating 40 years of house, I felt like there were significantly more events I saw. I felt like it was a more robust sort of Chicago scene. What were your thoughts?
For sure. I think this summer felt alive in ways we haven't seen since before the pandemic. It really felt like we were back moving and grooving. The events, we were celebrating 40 years of house this summer specifically. So like you said, I think there was so much programming. Navy Pier had something scheduled every Saturday in honor of 40 years of house. So it was really nice to see specifically events outside, events in the park, festivals. It felt like there were so many more things that were connecting us to house music's origins outside, at the barbecues, at the festivals, just in the streets of Chicago.
Yeah, you're right. Besides the barbecues and the festivals, Navy Pier, not just every week, but they had top of the line. Lil Lewis was there. Black Coffee was there. It was amazing. But talk to me. You started off the summer with being one of the producers of the House Music Conference and celebration with the city of Chicago with DKs. How was that planning? What did you think about sort of that entire weekend of events from the behind the scenes viewpoint?
Yeah, that felt like the kickoff for summer for me. Once, even though it was a little chilly that weekend, it felt like, okay, we are in full swing with Chicago programming. So like you mentioned, it was with DKs and they had asked me, the planning started way back in about January. So January was when they reached out, asked me if I was available to serve on the planning committee to essentially coordinate my own panel. And so I of course said yes. I felt so honored that they had asked me to curate a panel, especially during this 40th year anniversary. It just felt so special. I felt this huge responsibility that I took with grace and honor to really highlight what's new, what's in store for the next generation of house music. And so my panel was called Dancing with the Purpose, or Beyond the Beat, Dancing with the Purpose. And
Mhm.
essentially we talked about the underground culture in Chicago and beyond. And what are we seeing in underground music culture trends? How can we create safe spaces that are rooted in love and accountability? And how can the dance floor be a space for connection and freedom and self-expression? And it was a really, really great panel. We had some out of town a guest DJ come in. He's a part of Black rave culture named James Bangura. So he's doing a lot of great things on the East Coast. We had
Nice.
Arya Pedraza, who was a part of Right Productions. She grew up around rave culture in the late 90s, early thousands with her father, who was, an OG rave organizer. And then
Mm.
Jenny Fox, who's doing really great things for queer Latinx spaces underground here in Chicago. And Jermaine Collins, who throws his own party, he was the panelist. And it was just such a wonderful, informative conversation. It's great turnout. Sometimes with these panels, especially downtown, you wonder, are people going to come? Do people want to hear? And the answer is yes. People are interested in the archival and preservation work of house music here in Chicago. So
Right.
it was such a good event. And even the other panels, we had one on the Latinx contributions to house music. We had one about the Grammys and talking about how to join the Grammy committee. What has the Grammys done for house music? And then there was a house or a songwriting workshop that was awesome. And so this year we really wanted to do something different and have a little bit of something for everyone. So the conference, it was just it was so heart fulfilling and heartwarming for me.
Yeah, and
And
I think that the performances were interesting too, because they also, I mean, DK's also had a specific performance later on that summer that just sort of highlighted Steve Hurley, that was curated by Steve Hurley and his partner.
mm,
So, talk to me about, I know, so I went to see Lori Branch, of
yes,
course, and her performance.
that was on June 2nd, I believe. So the conference was on Friday, and the House
Right.
Music Festival, the formal, I think, it was in its home of Millennium Park, was on that Sunday. And so, yeah,
Mhm.
what did you think of we're back outside for the festival?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's so cool to have it back at Millennium Park as well. I guess it
Oh,
took a
yeah.
tour for a little bit, but yeah, I think it was
Right outside of
great.
Millennium Park after having been there for the past 20 something years.
Exactly. And then not only that, the interesting thing, it was on a Sunday. And I was wondering how that was going to, the DK's schedule is kind of all over the place. It's like here, it's there. So you never know. It was like, it was interesting. NASCAR's added some things to the schedules, chosen few was pushed back. So some of these things you really have to, you have to plan. You have to really look at what's
Oh,
going on and hope that, you have to figure out like really what the schedule is if you want to see everyone, because these time frames are so different than they used to be, that you really have to go out of your way to look at these schedules and make sure you have the right make sure you have the right dates.
yeah.
Mega is on the stream. What up, Mega?
Uh,
Hey, hey, what's happening, Vintage House family?
You need a little light on you. You are very dark.
you look
Yeah,
like
well,
a
you got
video
my
game
light.
Just put on a regular light. You'll be fine.
It's on. The regular light is on, so this
You
is it.
gotta, you gotta be facing the light. You gotta be facing the light behind you. But anyway, so we're talking. When we started at the beginning, which was the House Music Festival and Conference. It started at both Millennium and the Cultural Center that Momami helped to plan. And then the summer just sort of took off
right.
from there. It was crazy how many things were going on and how many things you have to plan. I'm going to deviate just a little bit before we go on to the rest of the summer. I'm still curious about what you all think about the fact that we have had event after event after event literally almost every day you could probably find something in Chicago. But we
Mm-hmm.
still don't have a house music club that I'm familiar with that is, every day there's some house music. Every day there's some house music. And we still don't have one place, unless you can tell me something different, where you can go to, whether it's a website or something, just a Facebook page or IG page or something, where there's a comprehensive list of Chicago house music events. We had a ton of things, but if you weren't plugged in, you could have missed things. What are
Mm-hmm.
you all's thoughts about like our ability to get to that level, or do you know people working on that now?
You've got Walt McFarland does a great job. Househead calendar. People are submitting their programming to him. In between, he is great at celebrating the birth opportunities, uh, birthdays of every person, no matter DJ, artist, promoter, show host, what have you. He's getting them in and recognizing and celebrating and giving flowers. So shout out to Walt McFarland for Househead Calendar. The events are there. I don't think there's any place you can go and get 100% coverage because events are popping up all over the place, but he does a pretty good job.
Good job. And then we'll take credit for that because, of course, we gave him that idea when he came to the show. He was going to do all the calendar stuff on the show.
He did that for Vintage House for 1 or 2 episodes for sure.
He did. Momami, you were going to say?
Yeah, I think especially it being Chicago, it is kind of hard to find that one thing, that one place that does house every day. The only place I can think of would be Smart Bar. That's it's notorious and known for its house and electronic sounds. What I see a lot of is more electronic underground specific places. Like we have Podlache, which is up north, Central Park, and I want to say Milwaukee or Grand area. And they do a lot of great electronic underground, sort of rave, but not quite the rave spaces. And then if we're talking digital, I know RA is a wonderful platform for anything and everything non-mainstream, which does include house, electronic, raves, and things like that. And the cool thing is it has the tags. So even you can follow specific DJs who have house music as their tag. You can follow party promoters that have house music in their tag. And so RA is, I think, the only thing that I have found to be really useful in figuring out where to find the sounds you like that aren't mainstream. But I would love to see more spaces, especially on the South Side, that, I can go here Thursday through Sunday, Wednesday through Sunday, and hear house music.
What's the place on Cermak that
Radius?
Radius.
Yes.
Are they every day, or how's that scene? What do they do?
More of a concert hall. So they'll have concerts, but they don't really have consistent programming that's like DJs from this time to this time. It's more they'll host a lot of electronic DJ or electronic and house artists, but it's not really a daily thing. I know weekly parties, we have Tribe, which is at Penny Whistle every Thursday. They do house music. So, you have your brunch ski, which is at Maria's once a month. That's house music, but no venue yet that.
Well, let me challenge this question because is there a market besides New York that may have, here in the U.S., is there any other market that would have a dedicated club to 100% house music?
Is the question, is there something somewhere else other than New York? Like maybe London might have something, maybe Berlin might have something, maybe Detroit might have something. Are you saying, is there a market for it? Or are you just saying,
I think the question was a little bit about befuddlement that there isn't a place in Chicago that's just a straight house club, not straight as in sexuality, but something that is programmed
Right.
100% house or EDM is what I'm saying. So if we are not feeling like there's one here in Chicago, and should be if there's one any place, I would challenge that there's probably not one in any city. Would there be any money in it, do we ask?
I know. I'm gonna send you the stream in a little bit, Louis. So yeah, I mean, okay, just the thought. We'll move back into what else is going on, this summer, and I'm gonna start just again. Momami, I know it's your show. I'm clearly asking all the questions, but
Like I never get to talk. I'm the one always asking questions.
so you did. I mean, so where you were all over? You were all over the city this summer, man.
Yes.
I mean, I've
Mommy
seen
has
you in
blown up.
articles. I know. I mean, she's on fire. And there's some places like I didn't even know. I was like, how did I miss this, event? Or how did I miss that? Talk to me about your summer, all the places you were, and what was your favorite place that you was new, or your unique place, or what was new? What was going on?
I got my list down here. I started with to me, the kickoff was the conference. On July 6th, I was so excited because Navy Pier asked me to have a Fever Dream. Fever Dream is my party series where it's, a global rave experience. And Fever Dream Navy Pier asked Fever Dream to be their, Independence Day weekend talent. And I was so honored because it's their biggest weekend of the year. Thousands of people go to Navy Pier to see that fireworks show on that Saturday. And so it was really exciting to bring in talent from New York and Detroit and have a local house legend all in one space playing house music. And the reason that was so fulfilling for me was because I remember being a kid going to Navy Pier for the fireworks, and it felt like a full circle moment because as I'm DJing, the first 3 rows of dancers are all kids. Like they were just kids. And kids, let me tell you, kids can outdance adults any day. They were just pure raw energy off of the house music, moving and grooving. And it was a really special moment to realize, wow, I am planting the seeds of house heads in these kids through my DJing. And it just felt so special. So Navy Pier, that was my July highlight. I also in July went to Indianapolis. Now people are surprised to hear that Indianapolis has a dance scene, but they do. My friend DJ Littletown, she has a party called B-Sides, which is all vinyl, all night. I'm not much of a vinyl DJ, but I challenged myself because I love the craft, and I think any good DJ needs to challenge themselves. And so I challenged myself and I said, I'm going to play my house records. I never get to play my house records out. So I brought 20 or so house records, and it was awesome. Someone actually said, as some feedback, so to speak, that she had never really heard house music and learned that night through my vinyls that she loves house music. Wow. And I said, wow, like being in Chicago, we're almost so used to house music all around us. We forget that there are places, at least I forget that there are places where people haven't really heard house music. They're used to just one type of sound. And so again, it was really nice to plant. I think this summer was about planting my house music seeds everywhere and shedding the light of spreading the word of house music. And so that was really awesome to play my house and house music. Just it hits differently when it's coming through a wax. And so that was a really, really awesome experience. In August, this wasn't a DJ set, but actually a panel that I was, really excited to talk on. It was called DJs Against Apartheid, and it was during DNC week. And so DJs Against Apartheid is this really cool collective out of New York doing wonderful work, bridging socio-political movements through dance and the dance floor. And so it was a really wonderful conversation talking about these DJs in New York and me here about our experience in our political movements and bridging DJing, dance floor. How is the dance floor a space for liberation? How is the dance floor a space for mobilizing, and why is joy necessary in in the movement? And so it was a really wonderful talk that was followed by a really great DJ set from Blestonio, who's a super talented DJ out here in Chicago. And a few other DJs. And so it was really wonderful. I'm big on my dancing with the purpose. And so it was great to be on this panel, do something really good for our brains, and then move our bodies. It was just super awesome to be a part of. And then I ended the month in Mexico City. It was a motherland trip. My first time leaving the country in 10 years, essentially. And so it was really nice to go to Mexico City. The tacos, oh my goodness. The street food. Outside of my hotel, there were just street food vendors all day, pretty much all day. It was phenomenal. But I think the highlight for me was going out and hearing, what are they playing in this country, so, hundreds of miles away from home. I heard house music, and they were playing house music till 5 in the morning.
Wow.
Yep.
That's an education.
House music, and not only house music, piano, Afrobeat, techno.
Nice.
It was just a really eclectic space for electronic sounds and global sounds. And what I love, and this is, kind of speaking back to what you were talking about, the house music clubs, I personally think that clubs in Chicago close too early. I think that 2 a.m. is way too early to cut me off from my dancing. And it was really great to be in a city where you see things are alive until 5, 6 in the morning. And I think maybe that's why we don't see what we see in New York when it comes to house music, because Chicago can be a little strict in its regulations. And so it was really liberating to be somewhere dancing to house, eyes closed, disco ball around me till the wee hours of the night. And then I got tacos after. So that was, my summer in a nutshell. Those were the highlights for me.
So I'm gonna have to give you a hard time, Momami, because all of those activities and appearances and performances, like, you didn't drop them in the Image House Show group chat. Like, we didn't know until now.
We didn't know where any of you all were. Y'all never. First of all, DJ Rocky, absolutely.
Hey, Rocky, welcome.
Good evening, everybody.
I have no idea where Rocky is anytime. All of a sudden, I see some flyer somewhere. He's in the park. He's here. He's there. He's in the south suburbs. He's doing his thing. And Momami, again, I'm looking through something. I see a newspaper article on you. Where were you in this newspaper article?
Another highlight. So this really wonderful young journalist, Layla Brown Clark, she just graduated with her master's degree from Northwestern School of Journalism. And a part of her graduate to finish her degree was to do a highlight on, someone in Chicago whose work she admired. And she chose me. She reached out to me. And I was so honored because, I do these things, and it's kind of also why I forget to throw things in the group chat, because I do them. I do them from my heart, for the love of the music, for the love of the craft. And so to have someone say, hey, I want to highlight your work, it's like, oh, I guess people are paying attention to what I do. People care, And so I loved her piece. It was published in Southside Weekly. And she came to a few events I had. So one of them was the House Music Conference. She came to a mental health panel that I was a moderator for. She came to Margarita Fest, which is a festival I DJ'd in Pilsen, and just did a wonderful piece highlighting the why I do this, why I DJ, why this work is so important to me. And so, I do have a copy sitting in my office that I want to and hold forever.
That is wonderful. Okay, Kevin, I'm going to pivot to you because I know you're on the House at 40 committee. And I think, one of the first things you did for that summer, was that the NASCAR event or not?
No, actually, what kicked off the summer for me was moderating the panel on house music, a cultural revolution, which was the sneak preview to a documentary airing November 8th on WTTW as part of Chicago Stories. So I am very excited for the airing of that documentary, as several of us served as associate producers on that documentary with director and producer Barbara Allen. So please, everyone, mark your calendars for November 8th on WTTW for the premiere of Chicago Stories, House Music, A Cultural Revolution. That actually was the same weekend as the Chicago House Music Festival.
Oh, that's true. It was the same weekend. We just spent an
sponsored by
extraordinary
DJ.
amount of time in the Cultural Center. Yes, I remember that.
Oh, the Cultural
Indeed.
Center was a second home this summer, it feels.
It
for
was. It
House
was
of Pets.
always there. So
Shout out to David Chavez and
Yes.
Frank Lewis.
Call the team.
Yeah. Thanks for using your office to help elevate this genre. But shortly after that, indeed, was NASCAR and the House Music Showcase, which was the inaugural showcase, including house music as a genre represented as part of the NASCAR in Chicago series. So we had, a breakthrough, and I got to host the showcase and kick things off. And we're anticipating returning in 2025, which is the last year of the NASCAR contract. We'll see what happens. But that was a phenomenal opportunity. And Lauren was there front and center. DJ Lori Branch and the Good Girls followed a rousing tribute to the late great voice of house music, Chuck Roberts. And the show just went on and on with legends like Marshall Jefferson and Chippy and Bad Boy Bill, and it just went on and on. So the highlight, of course, of the summer for me has been the weather.
Oh,
and then a couple of small DJ gigs here and there, where I am still refining my digital DJing skills. Momami actually started out in vinyl. I think I've got a wall of vinyl
lessons. Give me vinyl lessons. I'll give you digital lessons.
We'll work on that. And I also, with the House Music 40 committee, want to make sure that everyone knows that on November 22nd, there is a benefit for the DJs, artists, producers, promoters that are ailing. This benefit will be hosted at Smart Bar and features performances by 10 City, Marshall Jefferson and Byron Stingley, and a 14-piece orchestra. So it's going to be pretty dope. Good Girls are on board. Curtis McLean is going to be performing. Get your tickets now for this benefit concert that's going to hit Smart Bar November 22nd, featuring Teen City, Good Girls, and more.
That is awesome. DJ Rocky, can you hear us?
Absolutely.
DJ Rocky again refused to tell us exactly where he was all summer, but every time I turned around, there was DJ Rocky, spinning something further south. What the south side was kind of on fire to me, and the south suburbs seem to have a whole lot of things happening this year. Talk to me about your
sure
summer.
Did. So, okay, so the group I'm part of is called Good Vibes, which is GUDVYBES. We are 6 years strong, playing in Jackson Park. 64th and Stony Island has played there for 6 years. We start always Memorial Day weekend and go to Labor Day weekend. Every Sunday, rain or shine, doesn't matter. We are there every Sunday. So we get together and gather and play for actually Woodlawn because that's who we play for. We started out 6 years ago playing for about 50 people, and it has multiplied easily to 700, 800, and depending on what we have at the depending on the so it's called Mother's Day in July. So the purpose of Mother's Day in July is that we cannot do a picnic early May because we don't know if it's going to be snowing still or not, or if it's -60. So in with Father's Day, of course, in June, we just flip it to July, and usually either the second or the third Sunday of the month is dedicated to the mothers. So we it is always an all-female DJ lineup, and we've had a multitude of performers. Cherie Hicks, this year was Lady Alma. Uh, I'm pretty sure next year is going to guarantee be Teresa Griffin. Uh, so it's really a big deal. Again, it's just there's no picnic for a mother, so we make sure we create one in honor. Uh, but this is like I said, it's every Sunday. So hook or crook doesn't matter. If it's raining, we may not be out on the grass. We'll be in the parking lot. And it's 35 tents covering the parking lot, so no one gets wet. Um, that's the biggest thing that every year that I participate in. It is it has grown tremendously. So I'm very proud of the fact that we've had wow we've had a multitude of DJs play with us. So we try to do is what we do is it's actually seven of us. Well, no, I take that back. Rewind. We are back now to five. It is myself, E-Dub on the box, DJ Jody Baines, DJ Lil Tal, and DJ Juicy. So we
DJ Juicy?
yes.
Goodness.
So right. So yeah, Joocee.
Ah,
Juicy.
Juicy. Yeah, I got it.
So and then what we do is we always incorporate a DJ, at least one DJ every week. So we've had everyone from Mike Dunn to Gene Hunt to Jay Starr to, of course, the great multi-talented Lori Branch. We've had, oh my God, I mean, a multitude of, it's even hard to name all the DJs that we've done. So year seven, we're actually in the plans of getting that ready now. So we book our DJs as far ahead as possible to let them know that they are important to us and we want them there to celebrate with us. So
I saw some top of the line, I think Mel Gentry was there. He was also at
absolutely.
Yeah. Like you all had a gang of people. Talk to me about the South suburbs. Like I know you live out there. I see so many things there now. The Callion, whatever, River Edge Park, sort of that's the Aurora area. But then I also saw some things at the Country Club Hills Amphitheater and like all these on in the south suburbs.
Absolutely.
Is that club really hot? Is it as hot as I'm thinking? Are they small events, big events? What's going on in the south?
The biggest thing for the south suburbs now is that each city, so like Richmond Park, Park Forest, every one of them celebrates music. Country Club Hill celebrates music. So, of course, house music is very, very big out here because some of the, we've had the Hulas and the DJ Lil Johns and Mickey Calvins and DJ Flick. So they make sure they keep the vibe strong. So they almost host almost all the events out here. So every 1 week it'll be a taste of Richmond Park. But week after that it'll be a taste of Park Forest. But we'll be in Markham and we'll be almost everywhere. So I mean it's the celebration of house music, of course, with 40 years down too as well, makes it real big as well. But I mean a lot of the suburbanite DJs, they don't really like being called that either. But I mean, a lot of the DJs that live out here in the suburbs make sure they keep the ties to the community strong. So it's always something out here. So
Got it. Well, yeah, I'm totally, again, I keep missing some of these things. Like the thing in the park is something I could really get to, but it wasn't until sort of midsummer that I realized that was happening. And of course, I'd love to go
okay,
see everyone, but
every
I'm
Sunday,
never able to see
just let you know,
everyone. Okay, I got it now.
every Sunday, it never changes.
I
Never
will be there.
changes.
This is my first time hearing. You know what? I think I've driven by and I've been like, "What's that? That's some good music." And I did not know like that. I'm gonna mark it in my calendar. I would love to DJ too, if you like.
Hey, you know what? Actually, I actually have uh, two connections for you and that gentleman over there with glasses on. There's a crew that I work with. They do Dungeon Sundays, and they also
Okay.
they used to do the movie theater in 7th Street. Now they're
Okay.
just moving around here on the Thursday night. So I'm sorry, I got hit with this summer cold today. So yeah, so I actually because I would love to make sure that I get you guys out to the stuff that I'm at because I mean people need to hear everybody. I'm big on that. I do have one announcement though. So
Yes.
July 11th, 2025 is a Friday. It will be the 44th year of me DJing.
Oh,
I
wow.
am. I will
Yeah.
be putting. Oh, I will be putting together a grand picnic to announce my retirement from publicly DJing anymore.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
Retirement.
I don't think I've ever heard of any DJ retiring. What's up with that?
that's because most people think they can do it forever.
That's true.
I I'll still do stuff that like private events for specific people. Like, I got a thing to do for Teresa Griffin next week. But as far as being DJ Rocky Floyd, house music DJ, or it's about time to throw the headphones up on the thing and call it one. So
Retire
yeah.
the headphones. Bring the headphones like a jersey.
That's really interesting. We'll unpack that a little bit more on your show next week, which again, I'm not sure if it's in studio or not, but we'll talk about that. So uh so you know what? Let's talk about some of the things we haven't talked about. Chosen Few picnic, the NASCAR lineup, Steve Hurley's curation of house music in Millennium Park, and there were so many other things that also went on. I know that, did any of you all go to Chosen Few this year?
I did
So
not.
I was not there, but I am proud to say that once again, my PR agency served as the official media and government relations firm for the picnic and festival. And many of you have contributed to that. So want to take this moment to extend thanks for this year and the years before. And for those who haven't yet, let's get you plugged in.
Well, I'm going to bring on friend to the show, Louis Green, producer Louis Green, West Green to the thing. He goes to every house music, everything. Is that correct? Is that correct, Louis?
No, I don't go to everything.
He goes to everything.
I try to go to everything I can. The stuff I can make it to, yeah.
Got it. Did you go to Chosen Few this year?
I did. I saw you interviewing people in the back, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you because you were busy. I think I was standing there when you were interviewing Bill Hardy, and then I think you were interviewing someone else. I was trying to get your attention, but you were just, engaged. So
she was wearing 3 hats.
Yeah, I was double dutying it there, but it was super fun. It was super fun. What did you think about? I have my own thoughts about Chosen Few this year. What were your thoughts about Chosen Few?
This year, and I guess because it was the 40th year of house or whatever, I think I enjoyed it more than I had in a long time. All of the DJs really played for the crowd this year. I don't feel like they, a lot of DJs in the past would kind of just play their music, and it's just an opportunity for them to kind of advertise and do it. And hey, you can't blame them. It's that's what you're supposed to do. But this year there was a little bit of that, but they really played like it. It hit me different this year. I went up to Terry after a set, and I told him, I said, "Man, dude, you really you moved me this year, for real. And everybody's set was just amazing this year." And I know they don't play like that every year because you get tired of playing the same old music and that kind of stuff. But a lot of my friends that go, and I'm a DJ, I get it. You want to play new stuff, and that's fine. But man, I don't know, something about that house picnic, hearing that old school stuff that we grew up with, and seeing all your old friends, and it just kind of brings it all together, and it just gives you a real feeling of nostalgia that it's hard to explain.
It really is. This year, I did feel like, Sundance was up there, and she was just folks were extra happy to be there from the beginning, from Greg Gray to Mel Gentry to, the other the DJs that came in from out of town. I felt like they just brought an extra something this year. So I felt like the energy was very different. People wanted to stay to the very end. People didn't want to pack up. I think Alan King was late and something like that. People were just glued to wanting to be there. And you just heard about it over and over again. I was in the back the majority of the time, but I could feel all the energy coming from the crowd. It was really something special this year. I feel. And we've had some wonderful, last year was wonderful. BB Winans, some other folks.
Jamie 326 and listen, Jamie 326 wrecked it last year. Oh my God.
It was so good.
He just wrecked it. Okay.
But this year was a little different. Something went on this year that just made it very special. And
maybe it was that 40th year and the anniversary feeling.
Yeah, I think so. It was something.
Look, it's a constant, which is why there's always 40,000 plus people there, because it is the consistent fervor of fellowship, music, unification. There is nothing like it. Even people that come from out of town, the thing that comes closest to it is Music in the Park or House in the Park in Atlanta. There's a lot of talk about, some parallels there, but the, folks like Jihad Muhammad and Joe Clausell and Timmy Regisford, these are legends of DJing, particularly from the East Coast, and they all want to come to the Chosen Few Festival and play it because of everything that you all were just describing. It is that special. And yes, I'm a little biased. I do have.
Yeah, I guess so. A little biased. I do have, I did have some interviews that I will compile. I did a quick podcast, but I left out about 5 or 6 other interviews that I will put on a real webcast when we need something to put on sometime in the future. I'll play that once I compile it, once I edit that video. But that was really cool. Let me tell you, so the NASCAR event was really interesting too. I felt like that concert of house music was amazing. But again, the crowd was, I don't know if that crowd was sort of represented the kind of talent and stuff that was going on. Kevin, I know you hosted, you're part of that committee. It was unbelievable. I thought it was an unbelievable show. Like the show was top of the line. But, in that environment, I felt like the crowd wasn't there, didn't get the love that those artists should have had. Sorry about my background. But what are your thoughts about sort of that? As the host, I enjoyed you coming in and hosting that. I thought that was super fun. What did you think about the crowd as NASCAR?
It was a moment, certainly for me, and certainly looking forward to more opportunities to host some of the events that are anchored in-house, the feeling, the music, the artistry, and the craft. And that was an opportunity to introduce this genre that we all love to a different audience. There's no question that NASCAR fans aren't traditional house music fans or house heads, right? And so one comment about the crowd was that it was early. It was early on a Saturday morning. Race time wasn't going to be until like 3 hours plus past the time of the showcase. So the time slot and the programming didn't necessarily work in favor. And you had to buy NASCAR tickets in order to attend the House Music Showcase, which was a sort of a catch-all that certainly kept out some of those who would have really appreciated that legendary lineup. So the people, the performers, still put their heart and soul into the performance. Everybody from the Out Here Brothers to, like I said, Marshall Jefferson spun, DJ Wayne Williams got on the decks, Chippy, the Good Girls with Lori Branch, Lady D, and Beatty Girl. We had Curtis McLean, claiming his vocals on the house music anthem "Move Your Body," right? Najee, she killed it. She was a little ailing earlier in that day, but when it was showtime, she got out there and nailed it. Love her.
She did. I had a video of Byron Stingley at the thing too. I don't know. I don't think I can. I may not be able to put it on now, but he, all these vocalists from Nunnally with the Steve Hurley event, which I do have a quick video I'll throw in. I mean, it was really wonderful. And then we got a chance to see a little bit of the Steve Hurley curated Millennium Park event. So we saw a little bit of that. Ended up meeting you there, Lori, Darlene. They had some stuff in Detroit, but they came back through. And that was really amazing. Like these voices are still as rich and powerful, and it's still such a wonderful exhibit of their sort of house talent.
Dante Savage, Chicago Zone.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool.
I just want to one slight. It was the SNS Experience. It wasn't a Steve Hurley event. Steve Hurley was the main guy, but it's
Shannon
right. Shannon Sires to Steve Hurley, the SNS Experience, and they were contracted to curate that event for the city, and they did an amazing job. And
this is the first summer I've seen so many like curated live house music vocalists. I just thought that was like amazing. I thought that was amazing, from Steve's to NASCAR's to Chosen Few.
The conference, the House Music Conference, had a songwriting workshop
Yeah, like
Right.
it's
It was a
amazing.
lot.
People were really engaged, on those panels.
All those things. I think I've got like a 20-second video of Nunnally. I think I'm gonna try and show it. I don't know how the background's gonna go, but I'm gonna try and show it. Let's see if it comes through. I mean,
What's his name? Oh my God.
he sings like Nunnally sings like he just sung that yesterday. Like he came up there. The host for that was one of those comedians, Damon. I can't think of his name.
Williams.
Yeah, Damon Williams.
Yeah.
And he came up there. I guess I guess Nunnally, when I got there, Nunnally was singing already. So I guess he came up on stage with the cane. He came up on stage with the cane, and then he was like, you didn't see the whole thing. Like the whole thing, he's got people moving from side to side. He's moving, he's doing this. And he was like, how'd that dude come up here with a cane? He's out here like moving. Clearly, he did not need the cane. It was so funny, but he sounded so spectacular. It was really great.
I saw the whole thing. It was awesome. Yeah.
I got a Nunnally one as well. But I mean, I'm sorry, I got a Byron Stingley one as well, but maybe later. We're not going to put it on right now. But unbelievable performances. Unbelievable.
Rich baritone.
I wanted to say one thing. I don't know if you guys covered it, but you talk about like a house club that you go to every day in Chicago. We don't have that, but what we do have is the beaches are a house club Monday through Friday, if you ask me. Because we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can go to 71st Street, 31st Street, 79th Street, 95th Street. Which one am I missing? 57th Street. And they've got house music from 5 to 10. You know, good food. You know, Rhonda Flowers has made her own, has her own restaurant now with Waves up on 95th, I think. Right. And then, you know, so we got
as well, 31st Street. They've been doing that for 10 years, the house music. I just went to the Afro Beats on Monday. Unbelievable, very African crowd, spinning Afro beats, definitely, you know, putting in and out some just real house in there as well. Yeah, you're right. The parks, and then the thing that they're doing, I think Ron Carroll is, I think, sort of, I guess, curates that thing on 55th Street, on 57th Street, on Tuesdays. Thank you so much. I knew there's a reason you're on this stream, Wes.
Also, I wanted to give a shout out because we don't really talk about all the time the up and coming DJs on this show. We do, but and I say we like I'm part of it. I'm just a special guest, but
you are family. You are family. You know that.
I went to Steve Hurley's event at the Smart Bar. I think it was a few weekends ago, and he played. And after him, a young DJ named Sean J. Wright, I believe, played. And, you know, after Steve had played, I was pretty much ready to go. I was like, I'm going to get out of here. You know, one of my friends was with me. We were hanging out. Kevin McFall knows what I'm talking about. And so it was me, Steve, and, you know, and I think Kathy Brown was there. She's with SNS. And so anyway, Sean J. Wright gets on and starts playing. And I'm like, oh, okay, the first song. Because I think Steve ended off with like Get Down or something like that. But Paul Johnson, rest in peace. And so Sean got on and started playing. And I was like, oh, man, okay. What's up? Play something else. I was like, oh, that's what's up. Play something else. I was like, whoa. And then he started like, it's hard to explain without seeing it. But I have never seen, I'd say never, I have rarely seen a DJ so like this man's eyes were going left, right. He's spinning on 4 decks. He's blending 2 songs. He's working the isolator. He's dropping the bass on this way, adding effects over here. Then he brings in a vocal track. He's keeping it on beat with the jog wheel. He's not even bringing it on. He's singing like he's keeping it on me with the jog wheel and still working all the other effects and blending the stuff in. And then brought one track out. I was like, who is this dude? Who is this guy?
You a show, yes.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I love that.
Right. Wow. He's the next. He's the future. I mean, man.
We got to get him on the show. We need to talk to this man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he in Chicago? He's in Chicago?
Yeah. They say he's like the next Derek Carter or something like that. That's what I've heard. But
interesting.
Listen, and I haven't heard, Derek Carter play recently. But I have seen very few people that dedicated to their craft where they really go in. Like go in. That brother went in. Like it was amazing to watch. I was like, I came up to him. I said, I'm gonna tell you, I wasn't even gonna stay, but you beat it. Like you beat it, you destroyed it. And I had to take a picture with him. I said, much respect, And he said, well, man, Steve was just bowing to you. I said, man, that's nothing. You were amazing. So Steve had played one of my tracks and bowed to me or whatever like that. But nice. It was like, oh my God. And then Honey Dijon was there too. So she came and sat down behind Steve while he was playing. So it was like, who's who? Derek Carter, Honey Dijon, Steve Hurley. It was like an amazing night. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. That's so interesting. Well, guys, I don't want to be on this stream all night. Unfortunately, we don't have DJ Lori Branch on because the Good Girls were everywhere as well this summer. I could barely keep up with the schedule. They were here, they were there. It was a lot. It was a lot. But so if you all just give me a quick your favorite event this summer. What was the best event you went to this summer, whether you were playing it or not? And before you eat one more thing, Rocky, I'm gonna have you answer this question first. So you answer the question first. What was the best event or thing you did this summer?
Well, I have to. The Mother's Day in July was really the peak for me, just for the mere fact that Lady Alma flew in.
Yeah.
So she had to make a guest appearance on Saturday at Chosen Few, and then the next day she performed with us, and I was totally encapsulated with her. I've seen her perform before. But she brings back that old it's kind of hard to say. She has a flavor about her that's like that touches the crowd. She actually went and literally got down in the middle of the crowd, started singing to people. People started crying. I'm like, oh my God, we got the Michael Jackson moments now here. But that was to me, that was the peak of really probably the most successful thing that I was at. And it was fun.
Awesome. Louis Green, what you got for this best performance?
Yeah, I'm vacillating between the SNS experience because of the concert. I really enjoyed myself there. I had a great time. All of the acts, everyone who performed was amazing, but you really can't top the Chosen Few event. Like it was, especially this year, it was really, to me, it was extra special. And I saw so many friends and and I don't know. And yeah, I just really, it hit me different this year. And especially stuff like that Vince Lawrence was doing to try to help the DJs. And that's something else I wanted to maybe talk to you about, Lauren, because like, I think we need to do more to help the DJs because most of our DJs get into DJing for the love of the music, but the big ones, by the end of their career, they don't have health care, they don't have money saved up, they're DJing, to pay their bills, and they get sick. It's a real problem. So that's a whole show. It's not I just wanted to kind of put out there, but So yeah, the Chosen Few event I think really was the one that really hit me different. It was great.
I agree. Mega.
Yep, I joined 10 minutes into the hour, but didn't know if you talked about Chicago, home of house, the exhibit at Navy Pier.
Oh, yeah.
Revolutionary,
Right. Yes. Oh,
right? Throughout the summer, a persistent, you were talking about where is there some consistency in terms of people going. Well, being able to dance and express yourself is one thing, but to be able to take in um, the milestones that led to the movement and the culture and the gems that have been dropped over the years in terms of
absolutely.
music, in terms of venues, in terms of promoters, in terms of record releases.
It was amazing.
It was captured and certainly not 100% representative, but enough to be able to allow people to connect dots to the origin stories and the ownership that Chicago has over this global billion-dollar phenomena. Chicago Home of House exhibit, if those watching this show haven't been to Navy Pier, get down there October 31st,
Go.
or you may be missing something. You're going to have a severe case of FOMO.
Oh,
Curated. I want to give big props to Lauren Lowry, Lori Branch, Rob McKay, the Design Museum of Chicago, Tanner and Kevin. And, I dropped a few milestones in there myself. It is something definitely we stand on with pride.
Yeah.
know that you were the first PR professional for house music.
Keith Nunley was my first client. Yeah.
Wow, that's what's up.
Yeah, that's so. Thanks for the reminder on that. And guys, when you go, what you'll find if you spend 5 minutes there, people are stopping, people are like reminiscing, people are amazed. So I've seen some Australian guys. The first thing they did was point to the first the first sentence in the exhibition statement, which says Chicago is the birthplace of house music. And these European guys were just amazed; they didn't know. But then other people were just thinking back about their times. It really creates a real visceral response. People talk about it. And definitely, if you all haven't come to see it, please, team, we would love for you all to check it out. I think you'll be proud of the work, and we expect to expand and travel. That exhibit will keep you posted on everything else. DJ Momami, what was the event of the year for you?
My two highlights, I couldn't pick one. So the first one was at the House Music Conference. I'm sorry, the festival that happened that Sunday. Viva Acid had a stage, and I loved their stage. I grew up on Ghetto House, Ghetto Tech, and so I got to see DJ Sluggo live for the first time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Sluggo is just phenomenal on the decks, phenomenal on the mic. His mic work, his crowd work. I mean, from wall to wall, people of all ages were throwing it back. And it was nice to see, just the essence of ghetto tech outside. And so that was phenomenal to see such a legend. And then this summer, I made it to my first Sunday service with Dwayne Powell in Kenwood Gardens. And
Oh, yeah. Oh,
that
my God.
was astonishing. I mean, to just be in this gorgeous, gorgeous garden. I'm on the south side. Dwayne Powell is just cutting up for 4 hours. It was a very, I mean, it was like a spiritual experience for me. Truly, it felt like
Yeah.
Sunday service. And so that was great. And I really loved his sound that day. I don't know if this is his typical sound. It kind of is his like Afro house. That was so great to hear dancing outside. It was like he kept saying on the mic, it's the perfect day for house music outside. The sun, clouds, though, it was, I think, Kevin, you said this earlier with the weather. Just the weather was great all summer. I feel like this year we had a genuine spring and a genuine summer. We got to feel the gradual warmth. We got to feel
Exactly. Yeah.
it was a really good summer for events outside.
We had such a great summer. We are so lucky to have had this summer, and it continues. It's going to be 80 degrees for the next week. I
Right.
mean, we had barely any rain. We kicked it. I mean, I tried to go to as many things. Thanks for mentioning DJ Dwayne Powell, who's also on fire, who's also been all over the place doing different things. He's been mentioned. I was at I don't know, the Common concert or somebody else's concert, and Corinne Bailey Ray. She was. I guess they've been dialoguing and connecting, and so he seems to be everywhere as well. He is really also on fire, just making a lot of headway. And so we need to give love to all those people. Thanks for talking about the young people, and just met so many wonderful people. I'm going to end this with a clip of the Good Girls that I have here. And next time I'm going to make sure to get clips of everybody. But of course, I thought about it and didn't do it until the last minute. So couldn't even get because I've got a little fast clip of the exhibit. I don't have that in there. But please, guys, we will be back next week with DJ Rocky. Rocky, do you have a guest?
I have reached out to a DJ. His name is Master DJ Tony Soul. He actually is a record producer and DJ, and he runs a radio station in New Orleans. Plays house music Fridays, Saturdays every week.
Ooh, cool. Well, that's going to be awesome. All right, well, chit chat. Everyone, have a fantastic evening, and stay tuned for next week and the week after that. And we'll be back in studio very soon. And
Joining us, Wes Green.
Yeah, thank you, Wes.
Thank you.
Wes' family. He should always be on the stream. So he was in the studio 2 weeks ago, right? So he was just
with Bill Hardy, and myself.
Exactly.
Ron Hardy documentary in the making. I just it was breaking news today.
Oh, wow.
They're trying to get crowdfunding for it or something, so it hasn't happened yet. But that's going to be interesting, right?
I think there's multiple groups trying to do a Ron Hardy documentary now. I think one of the groups has money, and the other group is trying to raise money, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
But I know a little bit about some of that stuff, but I don't want to step on anybody's toes right now, but yeah.
So you never know.
Well, they've got a PR machine out working the trades today, just today.
I think I joked with somebody one time, and I said, if you don't tell your story, one day you're gonna turn on Facebook or you're gonna turn on Instagram, and you're gonna hear a strong European voice, somebody from the UK saying, back in 1989, happened.
This is why the Vintage House Show.
It's like, if you don't tell it, somebody else will.
There's an old African proverb that says, until the lion learns to tell his story, the tale of the hunt will always favor the hunter.
Wow. It's true. But you're right. That's why we're here. That's why the Vintage House Show exists. Thanks, everyone, for coming on to the show. Have a great rest of the fall. We'll see everyone in studio very soon.
Remember, house is a feeling.
Thanks for listening to the Vintage House Show podcast. Please subscribe and share, and check us out live, WNUR 89.3 FM, Wednesdays at 10 o'clock.